one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Board of Adjustments is a 9-member board. We're appointed by the City Council. We serve on a voluntary basis without any compensation. Our procedure for conducting business is I will call out the name of the petitioner. Please come to the mic. Please speak clearly into the mic and make your presentation. Anyone interested in that particular presentation will be given the opportunity to come forward and voice their opinions, concerns, or any opposition. Once we receive public testimony and discussion for that particular item has concluded, the members of the board will deliberate and we will render our decision. I remind the members with a personal or a financial interest in any item, you're required to recuse yourself from voting. Any testimony submitted by the petitioner or on behalf of the petitioner during the presentation of the agenda item will be binding as to any decision the board makes relative to the motion. I'll remind any members of the board that if a motion is made to deny an item, you must give a reason. This time I'll introduce the members of the board that are here tonight. Ms. K.T. Brown, our Vice Chairman, Ms. Jennifer Shaw, Mr. Bart Prince, Mr. Nathan Williams, Mr. George Howell Jr., and I'm John Stanley, your Chairman. We have 6 tonight. It requires, a motion requires 5 votes. If you feel as though that number might affect the outcome of your petition, then you may delay your item. And please see Ms. Ingram over here to my left, and then you can come back to the next meeting. Any questions? Our Planning and Zoning Department is Ms. Tanya Ingram, Mr. Tommy Tyson, Mr. James Center. They're here tonight with us. Any questions? Okay, item number 1 has been withdrawn to be presented by Thomas and Christy Eubanks regarding the request for a rear yard variance for an addition to a dwelling located at 3233 Audubon Road in an R60 zoning district. Being withdrawn, held over to the next meeting. Tanya? Withdrawn completely. Okay. Item number 2 will delay a little bit until another member shows up, or maybe sooner. But for right now, we will delay number 2. Now we'll move to item number 3, presented by Flowers and White Engineering, representing Taylor Development, Inc., requesting a parking variance and a special exception for an animal clinic to be located at 3724 Malcolm Drive in a PUD zoning district. Mr. White.
Good evening, I'm Kenneth White. My client would like to, this is 2 lots in the Berkshire Commercial Development, lot 6A and 7A. It's in a PUD district, like Mr. Stanley said, and the staff said that I need to ask for a special exception to provide, to have a pet kennel. It's really like a daycare that's going to be specified on this location, as well as a parking variance that we're asking for.
Okay. I just recall that I have to recuse myself from this item too, Tanya. We are the listing agent for that property, my company. So I'll have to recuse myself, Ken. If you think that affects the outcome of your decision, you can delay it. I apologize.
I'll continue. My client's not here, but I'll continue.
You'll go ahead?
Yeah.
Ms. Brown, you'll have to take over. Or I'll just have to recuse myself. Why don't you go ahead and give us the details so everybody understands what you're doing?
Sure. This is a nationwide like pet daycare facility that's going to go in this location. There's really not a lot of overnight boarding. It's mainly just a daycare for a pet care daycare facility. So if I could drop your pet off and come pick it up after hours. Again, it affects these 2 lots here and the associated parking around the building. And then we're asking for a parking variance as well, a slight parking variance as well.
Do you have any particular pets in general that you'll be dealing with, or you'll be dealing with pets in general?
This is just a dog. Just dogs. Mm-hmm.
Board members, are there any questions? Board members?
I have one.
Yes.
You said just dogs. Are you going to be any breed of dogs? Or are you going to be on a certain?
I don't know the answer to that question. I mean, I think they need to be well behaved because they're going to be in a congregation with all dogs inside. It's mainly a big facility inside where they have play areas and stuff like that. It's a 8 to 10,000 square foot facility that something very similar. I'd send my dogs out in Pike Road is very similar to that. So no, they have to be well mannered dogs that have to play with other dogs. So I would not think there would be any kind of restrictions on breeding. I think it would just be the individual behavior of the dogs.
And what will you be doing with the dogs? You going to be giving them, selling them, or just?
Okay. This is strict. I'm sorry. I'm the engineer representing my client. So my client that will build this building is strictly for entertainment or leisure for the dogs. You just drop them off. They play for 8 hours. You can pick them back up. That's all it is. Yeah.
You're not going to have any outdoor kennels?
I asked that question before I got here. Very little. There'll be very little outdoor runs. The majority of it is in-house, is inside a big open area where they all can congregate together. That's exactly right.
Any other questions, board members? Any questions from the audience? If there are no further questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we grant a variance.
Second.
It has been motioned and second. Ms. Shaw. All in favor, let it be known by raising your hand. All right. All against?
Thank you.
Any nays? No? Then it has been approved.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Record needs show I recuse myself, Tanya. Thank you.
I'm sorry, that was for the parking variance and the special use variance.
Yes, that was for both.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Item number 4 is presented by Sarah Morgan, requesting a height variance and a street side yard variance for a new privacy fence to be located at 3392 Walter Drive in an R85 zoning district. Ms. Morgan?
Good evening. My name is Sarah Morgan, and as you stated, Mr. Stanley, I am requesting a height and side yard variance for 3392 Walton Drive. There is currently a 6-foot privacy fence surrounding the property, and we would like to extend it to 8 feet as far as the height. And then the side variance, instead of 30 feet from the sidewalk, we would like to extend it to, instead of the 30 feet, 5 feet from the sidewalk.
Okay. So what we're looking at is the yellow that represents the new fence, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And so I see that you're taking the fence out along the side of your parking pad.
Yes, that's correct.
And you've got it angled there to sort of give you some visibility to anyone that might be on the sidewalk, correct?
Yes, sir. And what we're also doing, instead of that angle, we're actually going to move the feet back 5 feet.
You'll move the fence back 5 more feet
Yes.
from behind the sidewalk?
Yes, sir.
So it's not going to be adjacent to the sidewalk as shown here?
It
It's
will
going to be
be.
5 feet back?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, that's good. So actually, you're asking for a 25-foot
Yes, sir. That's correct.
street side yard variance, not 30,
Yes, sir.
okay? But you'll still have the angle on it, correct?
If I hadn't planned on it, but we can.
We like to see that. I mean, I'm just asking you, but we like to see that because that gives, it improves the view if someone is on that sidewalk so that you don't actually back over or run over anyone.
Okay. Well, could we do the 30-foot variance with the 5-foot angle as it's listed above?
If that's what you want to stick with, but I think we would rather see the angle there than we would moving it back 5 feet.
Okay, I can do that.
Is that okay? So you're going to stick with the 30,
And the angle.
but have the angle,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so you want to go with the 8-foot height
Yes,
fence,
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Any questions, board members?
Yes, I have a question.
Brian.
The fence will come to the street side yard property line, whereas 30 feet is required. What would be the footage right now?
Well, what this is saying is she's gonna bring the fence to that, property line. Go to your drawing, let me show you. Here's the property line, and she's bringing it right to that property line right there, okay?
Okay, so therefore,
And zoning requires it to be 30 feet, so that's why she's getting a 30-foot variance.
okay,
But
thank you,
she's putting an angle on it too.
thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Anyone in the audience care to address this item? Yes, sir. Please come up.
Sure.
Yes, I'm Bob Rogers, and my wife Claire and I, we own the property that's directly adjacent behind Miss Morgan's property. And I want to say this up front, that we
Let me
get
ask you,
along.
Bob, let me ask you, make sure I know which one you're talking about. You're talking about the property to the left of that picture?
Immediately to the left, a small portion is the backyard of where we live. You got a little angled partition there in the back. Do you see it up there about the middle of the back?
I'm not sure I know where you're talking about.
Okay, you've got Walton Street coming down here, and it tees out on Lansdowne. Lansdowne then goes all the way up, and the next property to the left of theirs, of the yellow line, is Claire Chrysler's property. Okay?
That piece over here.
Right. And we also have
Fronting
a...
Lansdowne. Fronting Lansdowne?
Right, it's right next to Lansdowne.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. The only thing that I was going to say, and I've already talked to Miss Tanya about this, and it may be superfluous to even be up here, is that what we've been trying to do is get in between the fences to maintain the fences. I have absolutely no problem with an 8-foot, a 10-foot, or a 12-foot fence. That's not, I'm not here to contest that at all. But I was going to see what would be the ramifications involved with if we can, maybe we just need to talk about this amicably between the two of us to see if we can get some space between the fences for maintenance purposes only. What it is, we got some trees that are growing up, and if you let a tree grow, it's going to be a big tree. Then it becomes a problem. You have to go in with a chainsaw, and it's hard to get back in an area. I mean, I'm a fat guy. You know, anybody, any adult with a chainsaw is going to have at least maybe 3 feet or so for maintenance purposes. And I was going to see if we could agree to, and I understand that y'all don't have anything to do with this, but if we could agree to maybe a foot to 18 inches off of the actual property line, that would give me about a 3-foot area, give actually all of us a way to maintain the back side of the fences.
So your fence is already there?
Well, I say that again.
Your fence is already in place?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay. And so you're asking her to move her fence in?
Not move her fence, but if she's going to construct a new one, go in about a foot, 18 inches, if possible, and then construct the 8-foot fence there.
You okay with that, Ms. Morgan?
Yes, sir, I am.
You're going to need to get up to the mic
Yeah.
so we can hear you.
I am okay with that. We spoke with Mr. Rogers about this previously, and all trees will be cut down. There will not be any trees along that property line when we construct the fence.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Does that solve the issue?
We have worked extremely amicably together on cutting down some of the existing trees. And there's still some poison oak or ivy or something in there that I need to get into, and it's so close I can't get to it. So I thought, well, and if you're going to reconstruct that fence, that's great. In fact, I will offer my assistance. If you'd like for me to help you, tear down the existing fence, I'll help you reconstruct the new one. I'm serious. We worked well together on that. I just wanted to make sure and try to get it for the record to get some space in there to maintain actually both sides of the fences. That's all I had to say.
Okay, thank you. We'll let y'all work that out. Okay. Anything else, Ms.
No, sir.
Morgan? Any questions of the petitioner? Anyone in the audience care to address this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we grant the 1-foot height variance, 30 feet street side yard variance, planning control comments, and that's all she's asking for.
And to include that angle that we talked about.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You okay with that, Ms. Morgan? That's real important.
Yes, I will.
Any other discussion? Anyone in the audience care to address this item? I think I've already asked that question. You had a motion to approve. To have a second?
Second.
Second. Ms. Shaw, second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. It's unanimous.
Thank you.
And thank y'all for working
Good luck
together.
on all that. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Item 5 is presented by Marcia Allison, requesting a special exception to keep chickens at 115 Benora Avenue in an institutional zoning district.
Institution. Okay, this backs up to Patterson Field.
Ms. Allison,
Yes, sir.
good afternoon.
I'm Marcia Allison. I live on Venora. It's in the
Okay.
Capitol Heights neighborhood. I don't understand why it says institutional zone because I'm in a neighborhood.
Okay.
But I would like to keep some chickens in my
Yes, ma'am.
backyard.
Well, you are, even though you are in a residential neighborhood, it just happens to be institutional for some reason, going a long way back. But there was times when you could be in an institutional zoning and still be, have a house in an institutional
Okay.
zoning. So that's going back a long way.
Does your house back up to Patterson Field?
Yes.
That's the institution, I bet you.
That's the reason. Yeah. Yeah. Good catch. Okay, so you have chickens there already.
Yes, 5 hens.
Tanya, was there some complaint, and is that why she's here, or what? I can't hear you.
Do we have a name?
Excuse me?
There was a complaint.
There was a complaint.
We don't have names because they come from 311 and they're mostly anonymous.
The reason I ask is I've had chickens since 2011, and I have empty houses on either side of me, so I don't know where that
Yes,
came
ma'am.
from.
Well, we don't normally ask who that person is that complains. If they're here, they'll be given the opportunity to speak.
Okay.
Okay? But apparently somebody called and complained. Obviously, you don't have any roosters.
No,
Okay? And so all you have now is you have 4 chickens, correct?
I have 5. The
You have-
lady that I talked to when I filled out my application told me I could have 5.
You have 5. Okay? All right. Our agenda says 4. All right. You are in compliance with the guidelines?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Any questions, board members? Anyone in the audience care to address this item? Is the person who complained showed up?
If not, will you entertain a motion?
Is anyone else in the audience care to address this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Ms. Brown?
I so moved that she have 5 chickens, no roosters, and the proper chicken coop and other things that might be needed according to our guidelines.
Thank you. Have a second?
Second.
Mr. Williams seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. It's unanimous.
Thank you.
You get to keep the chickens.
Thank you.
Now you're legal. Item number 6 is presented by Professional Engineering Consultants, representing Gateway Park Climate Control Storage Facility, requesting a variance to ordinance number 27-2009 for an existing building located at 854 West South Boulevard in the B2 and M1 zoning district. Mr. Mosley?
Yes, my name is Patrick Mosley. I'm an engineer employed by Professional Engineering Consultants in this city. I make this request on behalf of Mr. Aaron Kundra, owner of the property under construction this evening. Mr. Kundra has owned this property since 2006. According to city records, this building was originally constructed in 1959 as a Bellis Hess department store. We make this request request based on the following reasons. Number one, this building has never flooded. Number two, the 2014 flood maps did not include this area within the 100-year flood. Number three, the cost to meet the current floor level requirements would cause this project to be cost prohibitive. Number four, when we deduct the cost of non-structural work such as site improvements, re-roofing, heating and cooling, electrical improvements, and cosmetic improvements, the cost of this project will be less than 50% of its market value. And finally, Mr. Condra's project will turn an eyesore into an asset for the southern bypass. Both Mr. Condra and project architect David Payne are present tonight, and at this time Mr. Payne has a presentation.
David, I'm going to ask you to step to the mic so everybody can hear you. And even though it's not in our agenda, I know you'll be explaining what the intended purpose for all of this is.
Yes, sir. As Mr. Mosley said, this, we're asking for a waiver about the floodplain elevation because this building that was built in '59, and I've lived in Montgomery all my life, and in 1961, those of you that did live in Montgomery know that the water got up to within about 2 feet of the train tracks at Union Station, but it did not flood the Bellas Head Shopping Center. And it was above the floodplain until the city had a study that changed its floodplain elevations a few years ago, which is being revisited, as we understand it, by the city right now in an effort to perhaps change the floodplain elevation back to a reasonable height. So having said those things, our purpose here tonight is to ask for a waiver about the floodplain elevation because this building is currently about 8 inches below the floodplain elevation of established, the floodplain elevation that was established in 2015, which is not that long ago. But again, the facts are this has never flooded. And Mr. Kundra wants to take this beat-up old Bellas Hess building and convert it into a climate storage facility. That will greatly improve the building and the surrounds because this will be in the neighborhood of about a $3 million investment in the redevelopment of West Montgomery. And it'll have several hundred climate-controlled storage units in the building. It'll have a fence around the back of the property. It will have a much newer, cleaner, crisper look, and yet we're really not changing the footprint of the building at all. We're just building space. We're enclosing the front porch, if you will. The porch that faces the south will just be enclosed with new storage units under that canopy. And then this element right here is just a visual element to add interest to the building, to let people driving by or by on the interstate. There's a little tower element behind it there with the idea that you can see the name of the storage facility, hopefully from the interstate. And so we would like to propose that this would be a significant improvement to the southern bypass into West Montgomery, and we hope that you will find favor with us because otherwise the project could not be built if they had to think about trying to raise the floor elevation of that building about nearly 3 feet to comply with the city's current standards of being at least 2 feet above the floodplain.
Right, okay.
Oh, okay.
Thank y'all.
Understand it now.
David, I want to confirm that if we approve this, that all electrical will be moved above flood level? There'll be no electrical outlets located within the designated flood area.
We can make that happen, John. You know, typically they're about 18 inches above the floor, but they could be up higher than that. Or floor, you know, wall outlets could be certainly set to be above the current. You said above the floodplain or above the 2 feet above the floodplain?
2 feet above the floodplain.
Okay.
Well,
Okay, the flood level and floodplain same?
So these wall outlets would be.
Well, no. Right now, if we approve this, we were granting a variance of 2.65.
Right, 2 feet 8 inches.
I would
Right.
say it would have to be above that.
Okay. Okay.
Above the flood elevation.
And we don't have many outlets, and so
Right.
the
Most
fact
are
that they
hanging
would
from the
be
ceiling.
basically 3 feet high off the floor.
Let's say 3 feet off the floor, just to make sure.
Right.
You okay
Right.
with that?
Yes, sir, I am, and I think our client would be as well.
Okay.
You're saying the outlets?
Yes, ma'am. All electrical would be at least 36 inches above the floor level.
Okay.
Right, that's getting it out of flood. Okay? And board members, you've got in your agenda some comments from engineering. That's just, they put that there because they don't have the jurisdiction to approve this, but we do. And so that's why it's before us. They're not going to approve it. It has to go before the board for this approval. Gotcha. Okay? Any questions, board members?
Yes, I have a question.
Ms. Shaw?
You said the Bellis Hatfield, is this the building, right behind the, Family Dollar?
I believe it is.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, it is. Right.
This building has been sitting vacant for 20-plus years.
Yeah, it was Bella's house when I was a little boy. It's been a lot of other things in the meantime since then.
Okay, that would be a welcome addition to that corner.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
That would be a welcome addition to that corner.
We think so. We think so.
Any other questions, board members? Anyone in the audience care to address this item? I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the variance as requested, but including in addition to that we include the height of the electrical outlets inside as discussed.
At least 36 inches.
36 inches above the floor,
Floor level.
above floor level.
Above finished floor level.
Okay, and we understand that if we have to give a reason, the reason here is that the board is hearing an appeal when it is alleged that an error has been made. And
We don't have to give a reason.
We don't?
No, sir.
Okay,
No. All you got to do is give a motion to approve or disapprove.
all right, well, the motion is to approve.
Motion to approve. Have a second, Ms. Shaw? You second that?
Yes.
Any further discussions? All in favor, please raise your hand. You got it.
Thank y'all.
Okay, we're going to go back to item number 2 because I believe the petitioner's got leave to go to a graduation.
I just want to know when this is going to start.
When's it going to start, David?
Tomorrow?
Probably pretty soon.
Very good.
All right, item number 2, David, we're going to go ahead while you're there because item number 2 is presented by Luckford Rothman, requesting a special exception for a mosque to be located at 3430 through 3430C Kessinger Drive in a planned unit development zoning district. I have to recuse myself on this item. I'll turn it over to Ms. Brown.
All right, Chairwoman Brown, I'm Paul Burkett, and I'm here for Mr. Rahman. He is here in the event he needs to answer some questions, but I'm here to speak for him on his application. And in this case, we have a property that's been actually in current use as a worship or prayer facility since April of 2007. So this is a tenant-occupied property. That's been in this same use, but it came to the attention of both the landlord and the tenant that they had not gotten a variance. The variance is allowed under the current zoning, but they had not done that, and so we're just here to do that, to just make sure everything's in compliance.
Okay, and I noticed one thing that you said is leasing the building until that new building is completed on Vaughn Road.
Well, the current tenant is in the building and is building another building that's on Vaughn Road.
Okay.
But in the future, should this particular landlord or should a transaction occur where another church or mosque or facility wants to be in there, a worship facility, it's worked out good for the past 10 years. So we're just thinking that this would be the proper way to handle this.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions, board member? Any questions from the audience? If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It has been motioned and second that it be approved. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. It has been approved.
Thank you, Chairman.
Tanya, please show me as recusing myself. Thank you. Thank you. Where are we, number 7?
Yep.
Okay, item 7 is here subject to a complaint presented by Nur Mohammed Hossan, requesting a special exception to keep chickens at 3255 Hammond Drive in an R85 single-family zoning district. Mr. Hossan here.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. We had a request to delay that item. I should have told you at the beginning of the meeting.
No problem.
I'm sorry. It'll be next month.
Okay, thank you. Item number 7 has been delayed if you're here on that account, on that particular item. Item 8 is presented by David Robinson, requesting a rear yard variance for a new dwelling to be located at 3637 Farmfield Lane in an R85 zoning district. Hello, David.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, as you stated, the Farmfield subdivision off of Bell Road. The first one, I've got 2 on the docket. The first one is a rear yard variance of 4.5 feet. And you have it as an address, but I have it as Lot 8, Farmfield Lane.
Lot 8, okay.
It is a cul-de-sac, and the way the engineer designed it, they're very shallow, so that's the reason for it. I have a client that has bought these 5 lots in the cul-de-sac. It's almost impossible to put any kind of home on the lot for him.
I understand. Any questions, board members?
Where is
David.
Farmfield Lane? I couldn't find it.
It's over there off Bell Road, right, David? Yep. It's
It's
off
on
of Bell Road,
Okay.
south of the intersection of Vaughn.
Thank you.
It's
Mr.
down
Chairman,
in- It's
will
in
you have-
Norris Farms.
Yes.
Would you have Mr. Robinson repeat his request?
Well, he said 4.5 feet.
He did say
but
4.5
But our agenda says 4 feet. I was gonna get to that.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Well, you said.
Oh,
you
you're
need a
right. I'm
variance.
sorry. I said that wrong. I misspoke. It is a 4-foot variance for this lot.
Don't short yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want you to have to come back.
Right.
So your variance is 4-foot rear yard variance?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions, board members? Anyone in the audience care to address this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Mr. Williams, you want to make a motion?
I motion to
Ms. Shaw?
approve. I motion
make
that we
motion.
approve the petitioner's request as stated with the 4-foot rear yard variance.
All right.
Yes.
Mr. Williams, you want to second? I second. Thank you. Good. Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. It's unanimous. Thank you, David. You got it?
Next item.
Oh, you're item number 2. That's correct. Hang on. Let me read it. Item 9 presented by David Robinson, requesting a rear yard variance for a new dwelling to be located at 3642 Farmfield Lane in an R85 district.
Yes, just as the other one. This lot was a little bit worse as far as size. This one is being requested to be an 8.5-foot rear yard variance. This particular lot backs up to undeveloped property, and I'm not, due to certain areas in there with water and low areas, I don't know that property is ever going to be developed, but it is undeveloped property, so it's not causing an issue for the neighbor behind.
I was going to ask what's behind it, so it is low back there, is that what you're saying?
I can't say that for sure. I've heard that, but it is just vacant property. I mean, it's just wooded
But regardless,
fields.
we have to assume it will be developed.
Yeah.
Regardless,
Yeah.
you know. So your variance request here is 8 feet 6 inches.
Yeah, 8 foot 6 inches.
All right. Any questions, board members?
We're assuming that it will be developed.
Well, you have to assume that.
Okay.
Any?
And that still maintains a 21.5 foot rear yard.
Okay. Anyone in the audience care to address this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved. To have a second?
Second.
Mr. Pratt seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you, David.
Great, thank you.
Item 10, presented by Angela Hall, requesting a special exception for a mobile home for living purposes to be located at the southernmost extension of Butler Court in an Ag 2 zoning district. Ms. Hall?
How you doing? I just request to get a mobile home put on Butler Court. And it's a 28, I think a 24 by 68. It's a double wide.
Are there other mobile homes in this area?
Yes.
I see several in this aerial photo.
Yeah, it is.
And I recall several being approved in there in the past. Let's see, so you're putting a mobile home on the same lot with another mobile home, is that correct?
Yes, it's gonna be right next to it, yes.
But it's on the same platted lot, correct?
Yes, it's right next to it.
Is that okay, Mr. Center?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Tyson? Two mobile homes on one platted lot in that zoning? Okay.
What do you think?
So you're gonna be sitting behind that other existing mobile home, correct?
It's kind of gonna be like right on the side of it. It's
Right.
right on the side of it.
Right. The reason I ask the question, we typically don't see two mobile homes on one platted lot, unless it's a really big lot. You know. You'll be living in this yourself and not for rental purposes?
Yeah, I'll be living, yes, sir, I will.
Okay, but not for rental purposes?
No, sir.
Okay. Any questions, board members? Anyone in the audience care to address this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So be it.
Have a motion to approve, Ms. Brown, second. Mr. Williams, seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries.
Okay. Thank you. You have a nice day.
You're welcome. Item 11 is presented by Fidel Garcia Luna, requesting a special exception to keep chickens at 3801 Quinby Drive in an R75S zoning district.
Yes.
Ms. Luna,
Yes.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you pull that thing down, that mic down a little bit?
Okay.
Okay, tell us, there has been a complaint on this file, so,
Yeah, because we had a rooster, but we already got rid of the rooster.
no rooster.
No rooster.
All right. And let's see,
That's a lot of chicken.
you will be in compliance, but you're not apparently in compliance. Do you not have, chicken coops that are in compliance?
Pardon me?
Do you have chicken coops?
Yes, we have, yeah, we have we made one for the chicken.
Ma'am, do what?
Yeah, we have it.
I
and-
see a coop, but I don't see, I mean, that's a lot of chickens for one little coop. You got 17 chickens?
Yeah, we have 5 hens and 12 little chicks.
So are you gonna keep all of them? So you got 17, or you plan to just keep 5 hens?
I'm not really sure, but right now we have 17 in all.
All right, my question is, are you gonna keep all 17 as chickens, or are you gonna keep only 5? Because we need to know what we're gonna approve.
Okay. We'll keep 5.
You'll keep 5 chickens, and what you gonna do with the other 12?
We'll probably just sell them or
Okay.
give them away.
All right, then we're gonna approve this based on 5 chickens, okay?
Okay.
And you'll be getting rid of the other 12 by when? In 30 days?
Okay, in 30 days?
No, you tell me, I'm asking.
Probably. I'm
How
not
big
sure.
are they? Are they small?
Is it chicks?
Huh?
Are they chicks?
Yeah, they're small. They're not grown yet.
Will they be grown in 30 days?
They're like about this size right
Yeah,
now.
they'll be grown in 30
Yeah.
days.
So yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna, if we approve it, we're gonna give you until July 1 to get rid of them, okay?
Okay.
And then you only got 5 chickens,
Okay.
okay?
Uh-huh.
Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
I'm trying to help you out here.
I have a question,
Yes, ma'am.
and I guess this is probably for Mr. Thompson.
Mr.
but
Tyson.
Tyson. Is there a limit on the number of chickens that they can keep? Or does the number of chickens that they're allowed depends upon the chicken coop?
Depends on the area that they're using.
I can't hear you.
It depends upon the area that they're using for the,
Ms. Shaw, my concern was because of the size of this lot, and it's in a large neighborhood, that I was trying to get her to put a limit on the number of chickens. Okay?
Right.
17's a lot of chickens in a little neighborhood like this, and a neighborhood on a small lot like this.
But that was my only question. I just wanted to know if there was a limit to the number of chickens that was allowed.
I don't think so.
But that lot looks pretty big.
But what I'm thinking is, we're telling them how to come into compliance with the guideline that has been drawn up for you having chickens in the neighborhood. And from what this is saying, they are not in compliance yet. So they're listening to what we're saying in order to bring it into compliance. And with the number of chickens that she's saying that they have, and said the chickens are mostly chicks. And we are saying that, I think you said one coop would be too small for 17.
Well, I'm just looking at one coop on this aerial, but, I mean, I'm giving you my opinion, and that is, this is a less than a half-acre size lot with all these chickens on it.
So that's what we are asking them to do in order to work within the guidelines of the neighborhood. Aren't we, Mr. Tyson?
that's correct.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Any further discussion? Anyone in the audience care to address this item? Yes, ma'am. You can, you want to come up? Are you here to address this item? I'm sorry, I can't help you.
She has to
I
come to
can't.
the mic.
You got to come up. I can't hear you from there.
She said she had a question.
Okay. You come on up here if you don't mind. We need your name and your address.
Well, good afternoon. I'm here connected with the bonds program, and we have to come to some meetings. So I'm learning something. And my question was, what was the difference in having roosters? I heard something about roosters versus chicken.
Because our guidelines do not allow roosters.
Roosters make more
Make
noise.
noise.
They crow.
They create havoc.
Let you know it's morning.
And they crow.
Did you get her name?
They crow. Ma'am, what's your name? We need it for the record.
My name is Carmen Goldston.
Carmen Golson? Okay, okay. Thank you. Good question. Okay. If is any other questions? If not, Ms. Brown, I'll entertain a motion, but be sure to clarify what we talked about on numbers and timelines.
I am.
Okay.
I move that we grant the variance, depending on the fact that 5 chickens coming into compliance with the guidelines for having our owning chickens, having it down to 5 within 30 days by July 1st.
By July 1st.
Did I get everything?
I think so. Just, yeah, get it in compliance by July 1.
Yeah.
Down to 5 chickens.
Okay.
Good, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. Ms. Luna, you got that?
Yes.
Understand that? Okay,
Yes.
good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well,
Be up there.
Mid-State Signs, there she is. We hadn't seen you in a while. Representing Bibb Street Pizza Company, requesting exception to smart code for a new blade sign to be located at 424 Bibb Street in a T5 smart code zoning district. And you're here because you were requesting permission to construct a 9 square foot internally lit blade sign where external lighting is required.
Yes, that's correct.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So internally lit versus externally lit, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Any question, board members? Anyone else care to address this item? I'll entertain a motion.
So be it.
Have a motion to approve. Have a second?
Second.
Mr. Prince? Seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand.
And we are hungry.
That was easy, wasn't it?
That was easy. I didn't
First time you never had to say anything.
But I got to listen to all this. Thank y'all very much.
Your company would do well to,
Minutes ago.
the city has said they want to change the smart code, and you would benefit from that, so see if you can have them change the smart code.
All right, thank you.
Minutes are good.
Have a motion to approve. Have a second? Second, Mr. Prince. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All in favor of adjourning say aye.
Aye. Aye.